It's a sweltering summer afternoon in 1980s Taiwan, and inside a small tea shop in Taichung, the air conditioning hums softly while condensation drips down tall glasses of iced tea. A young shop owner stirs a batch of sweet tapioca pearls, their glossy surfaces catching the warm amber light. With a moment of playful curiosity, he drops these chewy spheres into a cup of freshly brewed milk tea, adds ice, and takes that first experimental sip. The satisfying pop of pearls between his teeth, the cool sweetness of tea, and the delightful contrast of textures create something entirely new. A drink that would eventually captivate millions around the world. Did you know that boba tea, or bubble tea, now generates over $2 billion annually worldwide, with new shops opening daily across 6 continents? From those humble beginnings in a single Taiwanese tea shop, this simple combination of tea, milk, and chewy pearls has become a global phenomenon that bridges cultures and creates communities. Before we settle in for tonight's gentle exploration, I'd love to know, what's your favorite boba flavor combination? Let me know in the comments below. Now, let's wrap ourselves in the warm story of how a playful experiment with tapioca pearls grew into one of the world's most beloved beverages. Chapter 1: Gentle Beginnings in Taiwan's Tea Culture. To understand the magic of boba tea, we must first journey to Taiwan in the 1980s, where tea culture flowed through daily life like a gentle current. Taiwan's relationship with tea stretches back centuries, brought by Chinese immigrants who carried both tea plants and brewing wisdom across the Taiwan Strait. By the 1980s, tea wasn't just a beverage, it was a social ritual, a moment of pause, a way to connect with friends and family in the midst of a rapidly modernizing society. The island's tea culture was beautifully democratic. Unlike the formal tea ceremonies of mainland China or Japan, Taiwanese tea drinking was relaxed and welcoming. Streetside tea vendors served workers grabbing quick refreshments, while elegant tea houses provided spaces for longer conversations and business meetings. Tea shops dotted every neighborhood, each with their own loyal customers who would stop by for their daily cup, often customized exactly to their preferences. In this environment of tea innovation and experimentation, 2 men would independently create what we now know as boba tea. The first story takes us to Tu Songhe, who owned the Hanlin Tea Room in Tainan. In 1986, inspired by the white tapioca balls he saw at a local market, he decided to add them to his tea. The pearls reminded him of traditional Taiwanese desserts, and he thought they might add an interesting texture to his drinks. The second origin story is equally charming and takes place in Taichung, where Liu Hanqi owned the Chun Shui Tang tea shop. Known for being innovative with his tea service, Liu had already popularized shaking tea with ice to create refreshing cold beverages, a practice that was revolutionary at the time when tea was typically served hot. One day in 1988, during a staff meeting, his product development manager, Lin H. Siu Hui, playfully dropped her Fen Yuan's small tapioca balls from her dessert into her Assam iced tea. The combination was delightful, and other staff members wanted to try it immediately. Both stories share something beautiful. They emerged from moments of playful curiosity rather than calculated business decisions. There was something wonderfully innocent about these experiments, adults playing with their food and discovering joy in unexpected combinations. This spirit of playful innovation would become central to boba culture's identity. The early days of boba tea were marked by gentle refinement rather than dramatic change. Tea shop owners experimented with different sizes of tapioca pearls, finding that larger ones provided a more satisfying chewing experience. They adjusted cooking times to achieve the perfect texture, chewy enough to be interesting, but not so tough as to be unpleasant. They played with sweetness levels, discovering that the pearls needed their own subtle sweetness to complement rather than compete with the tea. The social aspect of these early boba innovations is particularly touching. Tea shop employees would often be the first taste testers, and their honest feedback helped refine recipes. Regular customers became unofficial consultants, suggesting modifications and sharing their preferences. This collaborative approach created drinks that truly reflected the tastes and desires of the communities they served. The name Boba itself tells a story of cultural affection. The term comes from Hong Kong slang, where boba referred to a person's chest, and the large tapioca pearls reminded people of that particular anatomy. It's a charmingly irreverent name that captures the playful, slightly silly spirit that has always surrounded these drinks. In Taiwan, the pearls are more commonly called zhenju pearls, which feels more elegant but perhaps less fun. As word spread about these new drinks, other tea shop owners began experimenting with their own versions. Some added different flavors to the pearls themselves, while others experimented with various tea bases. The beauty of boba's early development was its organic nature. There was no corporate directive or marketing strategy driving innovation. Instead, individual shop owners followed their curiosity and their customers' preferences, creating a diverse ecosystem of styles and flavors. The timing of boba's invention was particularly significant. Taiwan in the 1980s was experiencing rapid economic growth and increasing international exposure. Young people had more disposable income and were eager to try new experiences. The island was also developing its unique cultural identity, distinct from mainland China, and boba tea became part of that emerging Taiwanese character, innovative, playful, and deliciously approachable. By the early 1990s, boba tea had become a fixture in Taiwanese tea culture. What started as playful experiments in individual shops had evolved into a recognized category of beverages, with its own techniques, equipment, and devoted following. The wide straws necessary for drinking the pearls became as iconic as the drinks themselves, and the satisfying sound of slurping boba became part of Taiwan's urban soundtrack. Chapter 2: The Alchemy of Pearls and Leaves. The creation of perfect boba tea is an art form that begins long before the first sip, in the careful preparation of each component. Let's start with those iconic pearls, the chewy spheres that give boba tea its name and character. The journey of tapioca pearls begins with the cassava plant, a hardy root vegetable that grows throughout tropical regions. Also known as yucca or manioc, cassava has been a staple food for millions of people for centuries, but its transformation into boba pearls represents a particularly creative use of this humble plant. The process of making tapioca pearls is both simple and complex, requiring patience and precision that feels almost meditative. Fresh cassava roots are cleaned and grated, then pressed to extract their starchy juice. This liquid is left to settle, allowing the heavy tapioca starch to sink to the bottom, while the water is carefully drained away. The remaining starch is dried and ground into the fine, white tapioca flour that forms the foundation of all boba pearls. Making the pearls themselves is where artistry truly begins. Tapioca starch is mixed with hot water and a touch of brown sugar, creating a dough that must be worked while still warm. The temperature is crucial. Too hot, and the dough becomes sticky and unmanageable. Too cool, and it won't hold together properly. Experienced pearl makers can judge the perfect consistency by touch, kneading the dough until it reaches that ideal state between firm and pliable. The rolling process requires a rhythmic, almost hypnotic technique. Small portions of dough are rolled between the palms to form spheres, each one requiring just the right amount of pressure to create a smooth, round surface. Traditional pearl makers can produce hundreds of uniform spheres in an hour, their hands moving in practiced motions that speak to years of experience. Some commercial operations now use machines for this process, but many shops still prefer hand-rolled pearls for their superior texture and consistency. The cooking of tapioca pearls is perhaps the most critical step in the entire boba tea process. Uncooked pearls are hard and chalky, utterly unpleasant to eat. But when cooked properly, they transform into something magical, chewy, slightly sweet, and satisfying in a way that's difficult to describe to those who haven't experienced it. The cooking process typically takes 15 to 20 minutes of boiling, followed by a resting period where the pearls continue to soften in their cooking liquid. The texture that emerges from this careful cooking is known as QQ in Chinese, a term that describes the perfect chewiness that makes boba so addictive. It's not the tough chewiness of overcooked meat or the rubbery bounce of poorly made gelatin. Instead, it's a gentle resistance that yields pleasantly under pressure, providing just enough substance to make the act of chewing satisfying without being laborious. After cooking, the pearls are typically soaked in a simple syrup that adds sweetness and helps preserve their texture. This syrup can be flavored with honey, brown sugar, or other sweeteners, each adding its own subtle character to the final product. Some shops prepare multiple batches throughout the day, ensuring that customers always receive fresh pearls with optimal texture. The tea component of boba drinks deserves equal attention and care. Traditional boba tea often starts with black tea, particularly Assam or Ceylon varieties that provide a robust base capable of standing up to milk and sweeteners. The brewing process follows principles that tea masters have refined over centuries. Proper water temperature, precise timing, and careful attention to the ratio of tea leaves to water. Black tea for boba is typically brewed stronger than tea intended for drinking alone, since it will be diluted with milk and ice. Water heated to about 200 degrees F extracts the tannins and flavor compounds that give black tea its characteristic boldness without creating the bitter notes that emerge from over-extraction. The steeping time varies by tea type, but generally ranges from 3 to 5 minutes for optimal flavor development. Green tea offers a more delicate alternative, requiring cooler water, around 175 degrees F, and shorter steeping times to preserve its fresh, grassy characteristics. Oolong teas, traditional favorites in Taiwan, provide complex flavor profiles that range from floral and fruity to rich and roasted, depending on their processing method. Jasmine tea adds aromatic complexity with its gentle floral notes, while Earl Grey contributes bergamot's distinctive citrusy character. The milk component traditionally comes from whole milk, which provides the richness and body that makes milk tea so satisfying. The fat content in whole milk creates a smooth mouthfeel and helps carry flavors throughout the drink. Some shops use evaporated milk for extra richness, while others experiment with non-dairy alternatives like oat milk, almond milk, or coconut milk to accommodate different dietary preferences. The art of combining these elements requires understanding how flavors interact and balance. Too much tea and the drink becomes bitter, too little and it tastes like flavored milk. Too much sweetener masks the tea's complexity, while too little leaves the drink flat and uninteresting. The milk needs to complement rather than overwhelm the tea's character, creating a harmonious blend where each component enhances the others. Temperature control throughout the process affects the final result significantly. Hot tea extracts flavors more efficiently, but the drink is typically served cold, requiring careful cooling that doesn't dilute or compromise the flavor profile. Ice quality matters too. Clear, filtered ice melts more slowly and doesn't introduce off flavors that could interfere with the carefully balanced tea mixture. The sweetening process offers another opportunity for customization and artistry. Simple syrup provides clean sweetness without grittiness, while honey adds floral complexity. Brown sugar syrup contributes caramel notes that complement black tea particularly well. Some shops prepare flavored syrups that add vanilla, caramel, or fruit essences to their drinks, expanding the flavor possibilities even further. Chapter 3: 1,000 Flavors Dancing. The evolution of boba tea from its simple origins into today's spectacular array of flavors represents one of the most creative explosions in beverage history. What began as black tea with tapioca pearls has blossomed into an entire universe of tastes, textures, and experiences that can satisfy virtually any preference or craving. Traditional milk tea remains the heart of boba culture, but even within this classic category, the variations are endless. Thai milk tea brings bold orange color and distinctive spiced flavors from star anise, cardamom, and orange blossom water. The vibrant hue comes from food coloring, but the taste is authentically complex, sweet, creamy, and aromatic in ways that transport you directly to Bangkok street markets. Taro milk tea showcases the purple root vegetable that's beloved throughout Asia. Taro's flavor is subtle and nutty, with a natural sweetness that pairs beautifully with milk. The distinctive purple color makes taro boba instantly recognizable, and its earthy, vanilla-like taste has converted countless Western palates to this traditional Asian ingredient. When prepared well, taro milk tea tastes like liquid comfort food, familiar yet exotic, sweet yet sophisticated. Matcha milk tea brings Japanese tea culture into the boba universe. High-quality matcha powder creates drinks with an intense green color and complex flavor profile that balances grassy freshness with natural umami richness. The preparation requires extra care, as matcha can become bitter if not handled properly. But when done right, it creates one of the most distinctive and satisfying boba experiences available. The fruit tea category opened entirely new possibilities for boba creativity. Unlike milk teas, fruit teas typically use green or white tea bases that allow fruit flavors to shine without interference. Passion fruit tea brings tropical sunshine to any day, with its tart-sweet intensity perfectly balanced by light tea, and often topped with actual passion fruit seeds that pop like tiny flavor bombs. Mango tea captures the essence of perfectly ripe tropical fruit, often made with real mango puree that adds natural sweetness and gorgeous color. Strawberry tea ranges from delicate and floral to bold and candy-like, depending on whether it's made with fresh fruit or flavored syrups. Lychee tea offers exotic perfume notes that surprise newcomers with their intensity and sophistication. Seasonal fruit teas reflect the natural rhythm of harvests and celebrate ingredients at their peak. Summer brings fresh peach teas that taste like liquid sunshine, with juicy sweetness that pairs beautifully with jasmine tea bases. Autumn introduces apple and pear teas, often enhanced with warming spices like cinnamon and star anise. Winter citrus teas provide bright acidity that cuts through cold weather lethargy, while spring brings delicate cherry blossom teas that taste like poetry in a cup. The topping revolution expanded boba's textural possibilities far beyond traditional tapioca pearls. Popping boba, also called bursting boba, contains liquid centers that burst with flavor when bitten. These spheres use a technique called spherification, originally developed for molecular gastronomy, to create edible containers that literally pop in your mouth. Mango popping boba releases concentrated mango juice, while lychee versions provide floral fruit essence, and strawberry offers sweet tart berry flavor. Jelly toppings add their own unique textures and flavors. Coconut jelly provides tropical richness with a firmer, more substantial chew than tapioca pearls. Aloe vera jelly brings subtle sweetness along with its famously refreshing properties and distinctive translucent appearance. Grass jelly, made from a Chinese herb, offers an almost mineral earthiness that pairs surprisingly well with sweet drinks. Coffee jelly represents a brilliant fusion of cafe culture with boba tradition. These cubes of coffee-flavored gelatin add caffeine along with their distinctive bittersweet taste, creating drinks that satisfy both coffee and boba cravings simultaneously. When combined with milk tea bases, coffee jelly creates beverages that taste like sophisticated coffee shop drinks, but with the playful twist that makes boba culture so appealing. Pudding toppings elevate boba tea into dessert territory. Silky egg pudding adds richness and protein along with its custard-like texture. Chocolate pudding appeals to those seeking more decadent experiences, while vanilla pudding provides subtle sweetness that complements rather than competes with tea flavors. These toppings turn simple drinks into substantial treats that can satisfy hunger along with thirst. Red bean, a staple in Asian desserts, brings earthy sweetness and substantial texture to boba drinks. These tender legumes are typically sweetened and provide protein along with their distinctive flavor. Red bean pairs particularly well with milk teas and adds cultural authenticity that connects modern boba culture with traditional Asian dessert traditions. The innovation in boba flavors continues to accelerate, with shops constantly experimenting with new combinations and techniques. Cheese foam toppings, inspired by Taiwanese cheese tea culture, add savory richness that balances sweet drinks with unexpected sophistication. These foam caps are typically made with cream cheese, milk, and salt, creating luxurious textures that slowly incorporate into the drink as you sip. Brown sugar boba represents one of the most recent and popular innovations. These drinks feature pearls cooked in rich brown sugar syrup that caramelizes to create complex, molasses-like flavors. The brown sugar is often layered or swirled through the drink, creating Instagram-worthy presentations with dramatic color gradients. The flavor is intensely sweet but sophisticated, with caramel and toffee notes that satisfy serious sweet tooth cravings. Seasonal and limited-time flavors keep boba culture fresh and exciting. Halloween brings pumpkin spice variations, while winter holidays introduce peppermint and eggnog flavors. Spring cherry blossom specials celebrate renewal and beauty, while summer focuses on cooling flavors like coconut and tropical fruits. These seasonal offerings create anticipation and community as customers eagerly await their favorite annual flavors. Regional variations reflect local tastes and ingredients. California shops often emphasize fresh fruit and health-conscious options, while East Coast locations might offer more traditional flavors with subtle variations. Southern shops sometimes incorporate regional ingredients like peach or sweet tea influences, while Pacific Northwest locations might feature coffee-inspired combinations that reflect local cafe culture. Chapter 4: The Great Migration Across Oceans. The journey of boba tea from Taiwan to the rest of the world tells a beautiful story of cultural migration, adaptation, and the universal human desire for comfort and connection. This wasn't a corporate expansion or calculated marketing campaign, but rather an organic spreading of joy through communities, families, and friendships that transcended geographical boundaries. The first chapter of boba's international story begins in the late 1980s and early 1990s, when Taiwanese immigrants began establishing new lives in California. These pioneers carried more than just their belongings across the Pacific. They brought their food traditions, their business knowledge, and their understanding of what makes a community feel like home. Among these cultural treasures was their love for the playful tea drinks that had become such an integral part of daily life in Taiwan. The earliest boba shops in America were concentrated in areas with significant Asian populations, particularly in Los Angeles and the San Francisco Bay Area. These weren't tourist attractions or trendy destinations. They were essential community gathering places that served the practical and emotional needs of immigrants adjusting to a new country. For Taiwanese families, finding authentic boba tea represented a taste of home that could ease the challenges of cultural adjustment. These early shops faced unique challenges that would have discouraged less determined entrepreneurs. Tapioca pearls weren't readily available in American food distribution systems, requiring shop owners to establish complex import relationships or learn to make pearls from scratch. The wide straws essential for drinking boba were similarly unavailable, forcing creative solutions and custom orders from Asian suppliers. Equipment presented another hurdle. The tea brewing systems, shaking machines, and sealing equipment that were standard in Taiwan weren't designed for American electrical systems or health department requirements. Early shop owners often modified equipment themselves or worked with local manufacturers to create suitable alternatives. This period of improvisation and adaptation would prove crucial in developing the infrastructure that would later support Boba's broader expansion. The customer education process was both challenging and rewarding. Most Americans had never encountered drinks with chewy additions, and the concept required explanation and demonstration. Early shop owners became cultural ambassadors, patiently explaining how to use the wide straws, describing the texture and flavor of tapioca pearls, and helping nervous first-time customers navigate unfamiliar ordering processes. Many early customers were drawn by curiosity rather than familiarity. The unusual appearance of boba drinks' dark pearls suspended in colorful liquids created intrigue and conversation. Social media didn't exist yet, so word-of-mouth recommendations carried extra weight. Customers who enjoyed their first boba experience became enthusiastic advocates, bringing friends and family members to share in the discovery. The adaptation process involved careful calibration of flavors and sweetness levels to suit American palates. Traditional Taiwanese boba tea was often sweeter and more intense than typical American beverages, requiring adjustments that maintained authenticity while ensuring broad appeal. Shop owners experimented with milk ratios, tea strengths, and sweetness levels, gradually developing recipes that satisfied both homesick immigrants and curious locals. College campuses became crucial early adopters of boba culture. Students, naturally adventurous and always seeking affordable treats, embraced these new drinks with enthusiasm. Universities with diverse international populations provided ideal testing grounds, where boba shops could refine their offerings while building loyal customer bases. The late-night study session became forever linked with boba runs in many college towns. The 1990s saw gradual expansion beyond the initial California beachheads. Taiwanese immigrants established communities in New York, Texas, and other states, often bringing their boba expertise with them. Each new location required fresh adaptation, different local ingredients, varying water quality, diverse customer preferences, and unique regulatory environments all influenced how boba culture took root in different regions. Asian American communities played essential roles as cultural bridges during this expansion period. Second-generation immigrants who had grown up with boba tea helped introduce these drinks to their non-Asian friends, explaining flavors and textures while serving as cultural translators. These informal ambassadors helped boba transition from ethnic curiosity to mainstream possibility. The economic aspect of early boba shops tells its own compelling story. Most were family operations with minimal outside investment, requiring creativity and hard work to establish profitability. Long hours, 7-day work weeks, and hands-on involvement in every aspect of operations were common. Success depended on building genuine relationships with customers and communities rather than relying on advertising or marketing budgets. Menu adaptation reflected deep understanding of American dining preferences. While maintaining core offerings, early shops expanded their selections to include more familiar options alongside traditional choices. Smoothies, coffee drinks, and simple fruit teas provided entry points for hesitant customers, while generating revenue from broader customer bases. The ingredient sourcing challenges of this era drove innovation and improvisation. When specific Asian ingredients weren't available, shop owners experimented with local alternatives or developed relationships with specialty importers. This period of creative substitution often led to new flavor combinations that wouldn't have emerged in more traditional contexts. By the late 1990s, boba tea had established firm roots in American soil. The infrastructure of suppliers, equipment manufacturers, and industry knowledge had developed to support sustainable growth. More importantly, a generation of Americans had discovered and embraced these drinks, creating customer demand that would drive the explosive expansion of the following decades. The success of early boba pioneers proved that authentic cultural foods could thrive in America when presented with respect, patience, and genuine care for customer experience. Their legacy extends far beyond their individual businesses. They created the foundation for an industry that would eventually employ thousands and bring joy to millions of customers worldwide. Chapter 5: Bubbles Bursting into Global Consciousness. The transformation of boba tea from a niche immigrant food to a global phenomenon represents one of the most remarkable cultural success stories of the 21st century. This evolution accelerated dramatically in the 2000s and 2010s, driven by a perfect storm of social media influence, changing demographics, and a growing appreciation for Asian culture that had been building for decades. The early 2000s marked a turning point when boba began reaching beyond Asian American communities into mainstream American consciousness. This expansion was gradual at first, driven largely by word-of-mouth recommendations and the natural curiosity of adventurous food lovers. Coffee culture was evolving rapidly during this period, with Starbucks demonstrating that Americans were willing to pay premium prices for elevated beverage experiences. This created an environment where unusual drinks like boba tea could find receptive audiences. Celebrity endorsements played a crucial role in legitimizing boba tea for mainstream audiences. When stars like Lali Adefop, Simu Liu, and other Asian American celebrities were photographed enjoying boba drinks, it sent powerful signals about the drink's cultural acceptability and coolness factor. These weren't paid sponsorships, but authentic expressions of personal preference, which made them particularly effective in building credibility. The rise of food blogs and early social media platforms provided new avenues for boba discovery and sharing. Food enthusiasts began featuring boba tea in their content, often focusing on the visual appeal and unique textures that made these drinks perfect for engaging content. The unusual appearance of boba pearls suspended in colorful liquids proved irresistible to food photographers and bloggers seeking eye-catching material. Instagram's launch in 2010 proved revolutionary for boba tea's global expansion. The platform's visual focus perfectly aligned with boba's photogenic qualities. The colorful layers, interesting textures, and playful presentations made these drinks ideal for social media sharing. Hashtags like Bobatia and Bubbletia began accumulating millions of posts as customers around the world shared their boba experiences. The Instagrammability of boba tea became a significant driver of its popularity. Shops began designing drinks with social media in mind, creating dramatic color contrasts, artistic arrangements, and visually stunning presentations that encouraged customers to photograph and share their purchases. Brown sugar boba drinks, with their distinctive swirled patterns, became particularly popular partly because they created such striking visual content. Asian pop culture's growing global influence provided crucial context for boba tea's acceptance. The Korean wave, Hallyu, brought K-pop, K-dramas, and Korean food culture to international audiences, while Japanese anime and manga continued expanding their global reach. Chinese and Taiwanese entertainment gained international followings, creating cultural familiarity that made Asian foods and drinks more approachable for non-Asian consumers. The expansion into non-Asian markets required careful cultural adaptation while maintaining authenticity. European boba shops faced different regulatory environments, varying taste preferences, and distinct customer service expectations. Each market required specific adjustments. British customers preferred different sweetness levels than Americans, while German markets favored different flavor profiles than French ones. Franchise development accelerated Boba's global expansion by providing standardized systems and training that allowed rapid scaling. Chains like Gong Cha, Tiger Sugar, and others developed comprehensive franchise programs that could replicate successful shop models across diverse markets. These franchises provided the infrastructure and knowledge transfer that independent operators often lacked. The health and wellness trends of the 2010s created both opportunities and challenges for boba tea. Growing awareness of sugar content and calorie counts led to increased scrutiny of boba's nutritional profile. Progressive shops responded by offering sugar-free options, alternative milk choices, and fresh fruit toppings that addressed health-conscious customers' concerns while maintaining flavor satisfaction. The third wave coffee movement's emphasis on quality ingredients and artisanal preparation influenced boba culture's evolution. Shops began emphasizing premium tea sources, organic ingredients, and skilled preparation techniques that elevated boba from novelty drink to craft beverage. This positioning helped justify higher prices while appealing to customers who valued quality and authenticity. Technology integration transformed boba ordering and customer experience. Mobile apps allowed customers to customize orders precisely, prepay for pickup, and earn loyalty rewards. These systems reduced wait times, minimized order errors, and provided valuable customer data that helped shops optimize their operations and offerings. The COVID-19 pandemic initially threatened boba businesses, but ultimately accelerated certain trends. Delivery services became essential as dine-in restrictions forced shops to adapt quickly. The visual appeal of boba drinks proved particularly valuable for delivery platforms, where attractive photos could drive order decisions. Many shops discovered that boba traveled well and maintained quality during delivery, opening new revenue streams. Social justice movements of the late 2010s and early 2020s brought increased attention to Asian American businesses and cultural contributions. The rise in anti-Asian sentiment during the pandemic created community support movements that specifically promoted Asian-owned businesses, including boba shops. This solidarity helped many shops survive difficult periods, while raising awareness about Asian American entrepreneurship and cultural contributions. The globalization of boba tea created interesting reverse cultural flows. Innovations developed in Western markets began influencing Asian shops, creating new flavor combinations and presentation styles that crossed back to boba's original markets. This cultural exchange enriched the global boba ecosystem and demonstrated the dynamic, evolving nature of food culture in connected world. Educational content about boba tea proliferated across platforms, helping normalize these drinks for hesitant consumers. YouTube channels, TikTok videos, and blog posts explained boba preparation, described different flavors and textures, and provided cultural context that made ordering less intimidating for newcomers. This content creation often came from enthusiastic customers rather than commercial sources, lending authenticity to the educational process. By 2020, boba tea had achieved true global status, with shops operating on every continent except Antarctica. The drinks that had originated in small Taiwanese tea shops were now available in major cities worldwide, each location adapting the concept to local tastes while maintaining the essential playful spirit that made boba culture so appealing. Chapter 6: The Peaceful Ritual of Preparation. There's something deeply meditative about watching skilled boba tea artisans at work, their movements flowing with practiced precision as they transform simple ingredients into liquid comfort. The preparation of exceptional boba tea requires not just technical knowledge, but an understanding of timing, temperature, and technique that borders on the spiritual. Each step in the process offers opportunities for mindfulness and care that elevate drink making from mere service to genuine craft. The day in a boba shop begins long before the first customer arrives, with the gentle ritual of pearl preparation. Fresh tapioca pearls require careful attention from the moment they enter boiling water. The cook must watch for subtle changes in appearance and texture that signal perfect doneness pearls that have achieved the ideal QQ texture without becoming mushy or remaining too firm. This process cannot be rushed or automated. It demands patience and experience that develops over months of daily practice. The sound of pearls cooking creates its own gentle rhythm. The steady bubbling of boiling water, the occasional stir that prevents sticking, the soft timer that announces each stage of preparation. Experienced cooks can often judge doneness by sound alone, recognizing the subtle changes in bubbling patterns that indicate when pearls have reached optimal texture. The cooking liquid itself becomes aromatic, filled with the subtle sweetness of tapioca that hints at the pleasures to come. Once cooked, the pearls rest in sweetened syrup that penetrates their surfaces and preserves their texture throughout the day. This syrup preparation involves its own careful considerations: the proper ratio of sugar to water, the ideal cooking temperature that creates syrup without caramelizing, the timing that ensures consistent sweetness without overwhelming the pearl's natural flavor. Some shops prepare multiple syrups with different sweetness levels or flavor additions, creating options that accommodate diverse customer preferences. Tea brewing in professional boba shops follows principles refined over generations of tea culture, adapted for the specific needs of cold beverages with added ingredients. Water quality becomes crucial. Filtration systems remove chlorine and mineral imbalances that could interfere with tea extraction, while temperature control ensures optimal flavor development. The brewing vessels themselves are often sized and shaped specifically for boba tea preparation, maximizing extraction efficiency while maintaining consistent results. The timing of tea brewing requires careful coordination with service demands. Fresh tea provides optimal flavor, but brewing too frequently wastes ingredients and creates service delays. Experienced shops develop brewing schedules that ensure fresh tea availability during peak periods while minimizing waste during slower times. Some establishments maintain multiple tea varieties simultaneously, requiring complex timing coordination that becomes second nature with practice. The shaking technique that creates boba tea's signature texture and temperature represents one of the most skilled aspects of preparation. Proper shaking requires understanding how different ingredients combine, how ice affects dilution and temperature, and how timing influences final texture. The rhythmic sounds of ice against metal become part of the shop's ambient soundtrack, a percussion that signals fresh drinks in preparation. Different teas require different shaking techniques and durations. Delicate green teas need gentler treatment that preserves their subtle flavors, while robust black teas can withstand more vigorous mixing that ensures complete integration of milk and sweeteners. Fruit teas often require different approaches entirely, with techniques that maintain fruit integrity while achieving proper blending. The art of milk integration separates exceptional boba tea from merely adequate versions. Milk must be incorporated at the proper temperature and speed to create smooth, homogeneous mixtures without creating foam or separation. Some shops use specialized techniques for creating layered effects, where different densities create visual appeal along with flavor complexity. Sweetness adjustment requires understanding how different ingredients interact and how customer preferences vary. Sugar dissolves differently at various temperatures, artificial sweeteners behave differently than natural ones, and fruit syrups contribute both sweetness and flavor that must be balanced carefully. Skilled baristas can adjust sweetness levels on the fly, compensating for variations in tea strength or customer requests, while maintaining overall flavor balance. The assembly process for complex drinks with multiple toppings requires spatial awareness and organizational skills that develop through repetition. Pearls must be distributed evenly, jellies arranged attractively, and liquid layers created smoothly. The order of assembly affects both appearance and flavor distribution, with techniques that ensure customers receive consistent experiences from first sip to last. Quality control throughout preparation involves constant sensory evaluation. Experienced preparers taste teas regularly, check pearl texture frequently, and monitor ingredient freshness continuously. This attention to detail requires palate development and sensory awareness that grows more sophisticated with experience. The best boba artisans can detect subtle variations in ingredients and adjust preparation techniques accordingly. The cleaning and maintenance routines that support boba preparation reflect the same attention to detail required for actual drink making. Tea brewing equipment requires specific cleaning procedures that remove mineral deposits without damaging sensitive components. Pearl cooking equipment needs regular maintenance to prevent flavor contamination, while shaking equipment must be cleaned frequently to maintain hygiene standards. Temperature control throughout the preparation process affects every aspect of final drink quality. Ice must be properly sized and clean, refrigeration systems must maintain consistent temperatures, and ambient shop temperature must be controlled to prevent ingredient degradation. These environmental factors require constant monitoring and adjustment that becomes unconscious habit for experienced operators. The timing coordination required during busy periods transforms boba preparation into choreographed performance art. Multiple orders must progress simultaneously through different preparation stages, requiring mental organization and physical efficiency that develops through experience. The most skilled teams move with balletic precision, each member understanding their role in creating smooth, efficient service that never compromises quality. Chapter 7: Colors of Comfort and Innovation. The visual evolution of boba tea represents one of the most dramatic transformations in beverage aesthetics, turning simple tea drinks into spectacular displays of color, texture, and artistry that rival any Instagram-worthy dessert. This chromatic revolution began with practical considerations, but evolved into an entire design philosophy that makes every boba drink a small work of edible art. Natural coloring agents have become increasingly important as customers seek healthier alternatives to artificial additives. Butterfly pea flower tea creates stunning blue beverages that magically transform to purple when citric acid is added, a color-changing spectacle that never fails to delight customers. The dried flowers release deep blue anthocyanins that respond to pH changes, creating drinks that shift color as they're consumed and mixed. Beetroot powder produces vibrant pink and red hues that range from subtle blush tones to dramatic crimson shades, depending on concentration. Unlike artificial red dyes, beetroot provides earthy sweetness along with its gorgeous color, contributing flavor complexity while creating visual appeal. The powder blends smoothly into drinks without grittiness, and its color remains stable throughout the drinking experience. Turmeric brings golden yellow warmth to boba creations, adding anti-inflammatory properties along with its sunny disposition. When combined with black pepper, which enhances turmeric absorption, these golden milk teas become both beautiful and potentially beneficial. The earthy, slightly bitter notes of turmeric pair surprisingly well with sweet milk bases, creating sophisticated flavor profiles that appeal to health-conscious customers. Spirulina powder creates vibrant green colors that range from ocean blue green to forest deep emerald, depending on the base liquid and concentration. This algae-based coloring agent brings protein and minerals along with its dramatic hue, making green boba drinks both visually striking and nutritionally enhanced. The flavor is mild and slightly oceanic, adding complexity without overwhelming other ingredients. Seasonal color palettes reflect the natural rhythm of the year and create anticipation for limited-time offerings. Spring brings delicate pastels inspired by cherry blossoms and fresh growth, soft pinks, gentle greens, and warm yellows that suggest renewal and fresh beginnings. These colors often come from natural fruit essences and floral infusions that capture the season's gentle energy. Summer explosions of color mirror the intensity of peak sunshine and ripe fruit. Vibrant oranges from fresh mango, deep reds from strawberry and watermelon, and tropical yellows from pineapple create drinks that look like liquid sunshine. These seasonal offerings often incorporate fresh fruit pieces that add textural interest, along with authentic flavors and natural coloring. Autumn palettes embrace the warming tones of changing leaves and harvest celebrations. Deep oranges from pumpkin and sweet potato, rich browns from brown sugar and caramel, and warm reds from cranberry and pomegranate create drinks that feel like edible sweaters, comforting, warming, and perfectly suited to cooler weather. Winter colors tend toward elegance and sophistication, with deep purples from taro and ube, pristine whites from coconut and vanilla, and rich browns from chocolate and coffee. These cooler weather drinks often feature warmer spices like cinnamon, cardamom, and ginger that complement their sophisticated color schemes with equally complex flavor profiles. The psychology of color in boba marketing has become a sophisticated science that influences customer choices and satisfaction levels. Warm colors like red, orange, and yellow stimulate appetite and create feelings of energy and happiness. Cool colors like blue, green, and purple suggest freshness and tranquility, while creating perceived healthfulness that appeals to wellness-focused customers. Color layering techniques have elevated boba presentation into genuine art form territory. Density differences between liquids allow skilled baristas to create dramatic gradients and distinct layers that maintain separation throughout the drinking experience. These techniques require understanding of specific gravity, temperature effects on density, and pouring methods that preserve layer integrity. The Galaxy drink trend represents perhaps the most ambitious color innovation in boba history. These drinks attempt to recreate the appearance of deep space using activated charcoal for cosmic darkness, edible glitter for starlight effects, and carefully layered colors that suggest nebulae and cosmic phenomena. The activated charcoal provides dramatic black color while potentially offering detoxification benefits, though the primary appeal remains purely aesthetic. Amber effects create subtle color transitions that suggest artistic sophistication and Instagram-worthy presentation. These drinks typically transition from light to dark or through complementary color families, requiring precise control of ingredient ratios and pouring techniques. The gradual color shifts create visual interest that encourages customers to photograph and share their drinks on social media. Color-changing straws and accessories have added interactive elements to the boba experience. These products respond to temperature changes, creating additional visual entertainment as customers consume their drinks. While primarily novelty items, they demonstrate the ongoing innovation in boba presentation and the industry's commitment to creating memorable experiences. The science of natural food coloring has driven significant innovation in ingredient sourcing and preparation techniques. Shops experiment with purple cabbage for pH indicator effects, annatto seeds for orange coloring, and various fruit and vegetable powders for specific hue requirements. This experimentation often leads to new flavor discoveries, along with color innovations. Cultural color associations influence seasonal and special occasion offerings. Red drinks celebrate Chinese New Year and Valentine's Day, while green options honor St. Patrick's Day and environmental awareness campaigns. These culturally aware color choices help boba shops connect with diverse communities while creating marketing opportunities around cultural celebrations. The environmental impact of food coloring has pushed many shops toward sustainable natural alternatives. Synthetic dyes often require petroleum-based chemicals and create environmental waste, while natural colorants typically come from renewable plant sources with minimal processing requirements. This shift toward natural coloring aligns with broader sustainability trends, while often improving flavor profiles. Innovation in color preservation techniques helps maintain visual appeal throughout the drink's life cycle. Natural colors can fade or shift when exposed to light, heat, or pH changes, requiring careful formulation and storage techniques. Some shops use encapsulation technologies or specific pH buffers to maintain color stability while preserving ingredient integrity. The future of boba coloring continues to evolve with advancing food technology and changing customer preferences. Emerging techniques include microencapsulated color release systems, thermochromic ingredients that change color with temperature, and even edible films that create iridescent effects. These innovations promise to make future boba drinks even more visually spectacular, while maintaining the industry's commitment to quality and safety. Chapter 8: Building Boba Communities. The social fabric woven around boba tea extends far beyond the simple act of drinking a beverage. These shops have become modern community centers, spaces where friendships form, relationships develop, and cultural connections strengthen across generational and ethnic boundaries. The unique environment created by boba culture fosters a sense of belonging that has proven particularly valuable in our increasingly digital and disconnected world. The physical design of boba shops inherently encourages social interaction and community building. Unlike fast food establishments designed for quick turnover, most boba shops feature comfortable seating arrangements that invite lingering. Communal tables encourage conversations between strangers, while cozy corner booths provide intimate spaces for deep discussions. The ambient sounds of ice shaking, pearls cooking, and gentle conversation create an atmosphere that feels both energetic and relaxing. Study culture has become inextricably linked with boba consumption, particularly in college towns and areas with significant student populations. The combination of caffeine, comfortable seating, and reasonable prices makes boba shops ideal environments for extended study sessions. Many shops have embraced this role, providing free Wi-Fi, power outlets, and study-friendly lighting that accommodates customers who stay for hours while nursing a single drink. The study group phenomenon represents one of boba culture's most significant social contributions. Students gravitate toward boba shops for group projects, exam preparation, and collaborative learning sessions. The shared experience of trying new flavors and discussing drink preferences often breaks down social barriers and facilitates academic partnerships that might not have formed in more formal educational settings. Dating culture has also embraced boba shops as ideal venues for casual encounters and relationship development. The low-pressure environment, diverse menu options, and built-in conversation starters make these locations perfect for first dates or early relationship stages. The act of sharing drinks or trying each other's flavor choices creates natural intimacy that helps people connect on personal levels. Family bonding over boba represents another crucial social dimension of this culture. Multi-generational families often use boba outings as opportunities to spend quality time together while navigating cultural bridges between immigrant parents and American-born children. These shared experiences help families create new traditions that honor cultural heritage while embracing contemporary American life. The ordering process itself has become a social ritual that strengthens community bonds. Regular customers develop relationships with staff members who remember their preferences, creating personalized service that feels genuinely caring rather than merely transactional. These relationships often extend beyond simple customer service into genuine friendship and mutual support. Boba shops frequently serve as informal community bulletin boards where local events, job opportunities, and social gatherings are advertised and discussed. Staff members often become community information hubs, connecting customers with shared interests and facilitating social connections that extend beyond the shop itself. This role as community connector has proven particularly valuable for newcomers to areas seeking social integration. Cultural exchange happens naturally in boba shop environments where diverse customers interact over shared appreciation for these drinks. Non-Asian customers learn about Asian culture through conversations with other patrons and staff, while Asian customers share their heritage through recommendations and explanations. These organic cultural exchanges build understanding and appreciation that formal education programs often struggle to achieve. The rise of boba subscription boxes and home brewing kits reflects the community's desire to extend the boba experience beyond shop visits. These products allow enthusiasts to share their passion with friends and family at home, while maintaining connections to the broader boba community through online forums and social media groups dedicated to home brewing techniques and flavor experiments. Online communities have expanded boba culture's reach and deepened its social connections. Instagram accounts dedicated to boba reviews, Facebook groups for local shop recommendations, and TikTok videos showcasing new flavors create virtual spaces where enthusiasts can share experiences and discover new options. These digital communities often translate into real-world meetups and group outings. Loyalty programs offered by many boba chains create additional community-building opportunities through exclusive events, early access to new flavors, and member appreciation gatherings. These programs recognize and reward community involvement while providing marketing benefits for shops. The most successful programs feel like clubs rather than mere discount systems, fostering genuine engagement and loyalty. The celebration culture surrounding boba includes both personal milestones and community events. Birthday gatherings at boba shops have become popular alternatives to traditional restaurant celebrations, while shops often host community events during cultural holidays or seasonal celebrations. These events strengthen local connections while introducing newcomers to boba culture. Business networking has found a natural home in boba shop environments, particularly in areas with significant Asian American business communities. The relaxed atmosphere and cultural comfort make these locations ideal for informal business discussions and relationship building. Many successful business partnerships and collaborations have originated over shared boba drinks and comfortable conversations. Mental health benefits of boba community participation have gained recognition as social isolation becomes an increasingly serious concern. The regular social contact, sense of belonging, and community support available through boba culture provide valuable emotional resources for people struggling with loneliness or cultural adjustment challenges. Many shops have informally become gathering places for people seeking social connection and emotional support. Seasonal community traditions have developed around boba culture, with shops often serving as focal points for cultural celebrations and seasonal observances. Chinese New Year gatherings, summer festival preparations, and holiday parties create annual rhythms that strengthen community bonds while celebrating shared cultural heritage. These traditions help maintain cultural connections while adapting to contemporary American social patterns. The economic impact of boba communities extends beyond individual shop revenue to support broader local economic development. These businesses often serve as anchor tenants that attract other Asian businesses to neighborhoods, creating cultural districts that benefit entire communities. The success of boba shops demonstrates market demand for diverse cultural offerings that encourages additional entrepreneurship and investment. Volunteer opportunities and community service projects often emerge from boba shop communities, with customers and staff organizing charitable activities and mutual support networks. These initiatives demonstrate the genuine care and connection that develops within boba culture, extending the community's positive impact beyond commercial relationships into meaningful social contributions. Chapter 9: The Science of Sipping Satisfaction. The engineering marvel that is the boba tea drinking experience involves a fascinating interplay of physics, chemistry, and sensory psychology that transforms simple beverage consumption into a multi-dimensional pleasure. Every element, from the width of the straw to the temperature of the liquid, has been optimized through decades of experimentation to create the perfect boba tea experience. The iconic wide straw represents perhaps the most crucial technological innovation in boba culture. Standard beverage straws, typically measuring 6-8 millimeters in diameter, simply cannot accommodate tapioca pearls, which usually measure 8-10 millimeters across. Boba straws, measuring 12-15 millimeters in diameter, provide the necessary space for pearls to travel, while maintaining sufficient suction for comfortable drinking. The physics of pearl transportation through straws involves complex fluid dynamics that affect both drinking pleasure and safety. The straw diameter must be large enough to prevent pearl blockage, while small enough to maintain reasonable suction pressure. Too wide, and customers struggle to create sufficient vacuum for liquid flow. Too narrow, and pearls create frustrating blockages that interrupt the drinking experience. Straw length also affects the drinking experience through pressure dynamics and temperature transfer. Longer straws require greater suction pressure, potentially causing fatigue during extended drinking sessions. However, they also provide more distance for liquid cooling and better mixing of flavors as the drink travels upward. Most boba straws measure 8-10 inches, balancing these competing factors for optimal experience. The material science of boba straws has evolved significantly as environmental concerns have pushed the industry toward sustainable alternatives. Traditional plastic straws provided ideal functionality but created environmental waste. Paper alternatives often became soggy and affected taste, while metal straws presented safety concerns with hot beverages and required cleaning between uses. The development of reusable silicone and biodegradable plastic alternatives represents ongoing innovation in sustainable boba consumption. The temperature science of boba tea affects every aspect of the drinking experience, from flavor perception to pearl texture. Cold beverages enhance sweetness perception while suppressing bitterness, making boba tea's typically sweet profile more appealing. The contrast between cool liquid and room temperature pearls creates textural interest that enhances sensory satisfaction. Optimal serving temperatures for boba tea typically range from 35-45 degrees F to -7 degrees C. Cold enough to be refreshing, while warm enough to prevent brain freeze during consumption. Ice quality and quantity affect both temperature and dilution rates, requiring careful balance to maintain flavor intensity throughout the drinking experience. Some shops use specially designed ice that melts more slowly to minimize dilution while maintaining optimal temperature. The texture science of tapioca pearls involves complex carbohydrate chemistry that creates their distinctive QQ characteristic. Properly cooked pearls achieve a state where their outer layers are fully gelatinized, while their centers retain slight firmness, creating the perfect balance between chewiness and yield. This texture provides oral satisfaction that triggers pleasure responses in the brain, similar to those activated by comfort foods. The timing of pearl consumption affects both texture and flavor experience. Fresh pearls provide optimal texture, but begin degrading within hours of cooking, becoming either too soft or too firm depending on storage conditions. The best boba shops maintain strict rotation schedules that ensure customers receive pearls at peak quality, often preparing multiple batches throughout busy days. Flavor release mechanisms in boba tea involve multiple simultaneous processes that create complex sensory experiences. The initial sweetness comes from dissolved sugars in the liquid, while deeper flavors develop as the drink moves through the mouth. Pearls release additional sweetness and provide textural contrast that extends flavor perception throughout the chewing process. The role of aromatics in boba tea satisfaction cannot be understated. Many flavor compounds are volatile and contribute to perception through olfactory rather than gustatory pathways. The wide opening of boba cups allows for maximum aroma release, while the drinking process brings liquid close to nasal passages for optimal scent perception. Some shops enhance this effect by warming milk or using fresh fruit that releases aromatic compounds. Caffeine content in boba tea varies dramatically depending on tea type, brewing strength, and serving size, affecting both satisfaction and potential side effects. Black tea bases typically provide 40-70 mg of caffeine per serving, comparable to coffee, but delivered more gradually through extended consumption. Green tea bases offer moderate caffeine, 20-45 mg, with additional antioxidants, while herbal and fruit teas provide caffeine-free alternatives for sensitive customers. The psychological aspects of boba consumption involve multiple satisfaction triggers that extend beyond simple taste and nutrition. The visual appeal of colorful drinks creates anticipation that enhances flavor perception, while the interactive nature of pearl consumption provides entertainment value that traditional beverages lack. The social signaling aspect of carrying recognizable boba cups creates additional satisfaction through cultural identity expression. Nutritional considerations in boba tea consumption require careful attention to portion sizes and ingredient choices. A typical boba tea contains 200-450 calories, primarily from added sugars and milk products. Tapioca pearls alone contribute 100-150 calories per serving, while milk and sweeteners add additional caloric content. Health-conscious customers can reduce caloric intake through sugar reduction, alternative milk choices, and smaller portion sizes. The digestion science of boba tea involves complex processing of both liquid and solid components. The high sugar content provides rapid energy, but can cause blood sugar spikes in sensitive individuals. Tapioca pearls digest more slowly, providing sustained energy release, but requiring adequate chewing for proper breakdown. The combination creates a satisfaction profile that can serve as a meal replacement for some customers. Hydration benefits and concerns surrounding boba tea consumption depend largely on preparation methods and individual consumption patterns. While the liquid component provides hydration, high sugar and caffeine content can have mild diuretic effects that partially offset fluid intake. The optimal approach for customers seeking hydration involves reducing sweetness levels and choosing caffeine-free bases, while maintaining adequate water consumption throughout the day. The sensory adaptation that occurs during boba consumption affects both immediate satisfaction and long-term preference development. Initial pearl texture may seem unusual to new customers, but repeated exposure typically leads to appreciation and eventual craving for the unique mouthfeel. This adaptation process explains why boba culture tends to create dedicated enthusiasts rather than casual consumers. Innovation in boba consumption technology continues evolving with customer needs and preferences. Temperature-sensitive, color-changing straws provide visual entertainment, while textured straws enhance grip and control. Some experimental designs include built-in flavor chambers or adjustable diameter mechanisms that allow customization of the drinking experience. These innovations demonstrate the ongoing optimization of every aspect of boba tea consumption. Chapter 10: Sweet Dreams and Endless Possibilities. As we reach the gentle conclusion of our boba tea journey, we find ourselves surrounded by the warm glow of understanding. Not just about a beloved beverage, but about the beautiful ways that simple pleasures can transform into cultural phenomena that connect hearts across continents. The story of boba tea reminds us that innovation often emerges from playfulness, that tradition and creativity can dance together harmoniously, and that sometimes the most profound cultural exchanges happen one sip at a time. The future stretching before boba culture shimmers with possibility, much like the pearls suspended in our favorite drinks. Sustainability initiatives are reshaping every aspect of the industry, from biodegradable cups and straws to locally sourced ingredients that reduce environmental impact while supporting regional agriculture. Forward-thinking shops are experimenting with vertical farming systems that could grow fresh herbs and fruits on site, creating hyperlocal flavors while minimizing transportation costs and environmental footprint. Technology integration promises to enhance the boba experience while preserving its essential community-centered nature. Augmented reality menus could allow customers to visualize drinks before ordering, while AI-powered recommendation systems might suggest new flavor combinations based on individual preferences and seasonal availability. Smart brewing systems could optimize tea extraction and pearl cooking with precision that surpasses even the most experienced baristas, ensuring consistent quality while freeing human staff to focus on customer connection and creative innovation. The global expansion of boba culture continues accelerating, with new markets discovering these delightful drinks monthly. Each cultural adaptation adds unique flavors and techniques to the global boba repertoire: African rooibos bases, Scandinavian berry combinations, Latin American fruit explosions, and Middle Eastern spice infusions all contribute to an ever-expanding universe of possibilities. This cross-pollination of cultures through boba represents globalization at its most beautiful and peaceful. Health-conscious innovations are transforming boba into wellness-focused beverages without sacrificing pleasure or satisfaction. Functional ingredients like adaptogens, probiotics, and superfoods are being incorporated into traditional recipes, creating drinks that nourish both body and soul. Sugar alternatives derived from monk fruit and stevia provide sweetness without glycemic impact, while plant-based milk alternatives expand options for customers with dietary restrictions or ethical preferences. The craft boba movement parallels developments in specialty coffee and artisanal foods, with small batch producers focusing on premium ingredients and innovative preparation techniques. Single-origin teas, house-made pearls with unique flavors and textures, and seasonal ingredients sourced from local farmers create boba experiences that rival fine dining in their attention to quality and creativity. These artisanal approaches honor boba's humble origins, while elevating it to new heights of culinary sophistication. Educational initiatives are spreading knowledge about proper boba preparation, cultural history, and appreciation techniques. Boba sommelier programs teach customers to distinguish between tea varieties, understand flavor pairing principles, and appreciate the craftsmanship behind exceptional drinks. These educational efforts deepen customer appreciation while supporting premium pricing that allows shops to invest in higher quality ingredients and better working conditions for staff. The community-building aspect of boba culture continues evolving to meet changing social needs. Co-working spaces integrated with boba shops provide modern solutions for remote workers seeking community and caffeine. Cultural exchange programs bring international students together over shared drinks and conversations. Senior centers are discovering that boba social hours provide opportunities for intergenerational connection and cultural learning that benefit both elderly participants and younger volunteers. Therapeutic applications of boba culture are gaining recognition in healthcare and wellness settings. The meditative aspects of pearl preparation and consumption provide stress relief and mindfulness practice opportunities. Social workers use boba outings as relationship-building tools with at-risk youth, while therapists incorporate boba shop visits into cultural competency training and community integration programs for immigrants and refugees. The economic impact of boba culture extends far beyond individual shops to support entire supply chains and related industries. Tapioca farmers in Southeast Asia benefit from increased global demand, while packaging manufacturers innovate sustainable solutions for boba-specific needs. Equipment manufacturers continue developing specialized brewing, cooking, and serving equipment that improves efficiency and quality while reducing environmental impact. Innovation in pearl alternatives and textures promises to expand boba's appeal and accessibility. Algae-based pearls could provide additional nutrition while maintaining traditional textures, while fruit-based spheres could offer natural flavors and vitamins. Protein-enriched pearls might appeal to fitness-conscious customers, while probiotic pearls could support digestive health. These innovations demonstrate the industry's commitment to continuous improvement and customer satisfaction. The preservation of boba culture's authentic spirit amid rapid growth and commercialization remains a central challenge and opportunity. Successful brands balance efficiency and profitability with the personal touch and cultural authenticity that made boba special in the first place. Training programs that teach cultural history alongside technical skills help staff become cultural ambassadors who can share boba's story with customers while maintaining operational excellence. Climate change adaptation strategies are becoming essential as shifting weather patterns affect tea growing regions and ingredient availability. Shops are developing relationships with diverse suppliers to ensure ingredient security while supporting farming communities adapting to changing conditions. Some are investing in climate-controlled storage and processing facilities that can maintain quality standards regardless of external environmental challenges. As we drift toward sleep, surrounded by the gentle wisdom of this remarkable beverage culture, we're reminded that the best innovations often emerge from the simplest human desires for comfort, connection, and a little sweetness in our daily lives. The tapioca pearls that bounce gently at the bottom of our cups carry within them the dreams and efforts of countless individuals who believed that bringing joy to others was worthy work. Tonight, we've wandered together through bamboo-filled valleys of tradition and innovation, discovering how a playful moment in a Taiwanese tea shop grew into a global phenomenon that brings millions of people daily comfort and connection. From the patient art of pearl preparation to the joyful chaos of flavor innovation, from the quiet courage of immigrant entrepreneurs to the enthusiastic embrace of curious customers worldwide, Boba Tea's story reminds us that culture travels on currents of kindness and shared pleasure. The gentle bubbling of tapioca pearls cooking in distant kitchens tonight creates a rhythm that echoes around the world. In California cafes, where students gather over textbooks and friendship. In London shops, where curious Britons discover new flavors. In Seoul locations, where tradition meets cutting-edge innovation. Each cup prepared with care carries forward the spirit of those original Taiwan tea masters who believed that life should include moments of pure, simple joy. Thank you for going on this journey with me tonight. Until we meet again in these quiet hours, may your days be sweetened with unexpected flavors, and your nights blessed with the gentle contentment that comes from knowing there are still magical discoveries waiting in the ordinary moments of tomorrow.